Hi, my name is Alexandra Manukyan, and I'm an artist from Los Angeles. I started very early, and I was 5 or 6 years old when my father realized that I have artistic abilities. We had volumes of biological books, and one of the volumes were animals, mammals, which I was fascinated with. And I started painting from these books, and my father realized how good they are coming out. Well, I don't remember, but my father thought they just so accurate and they represent the way they have to be drawn. And he bought this most amazingly beautiful set of watercolors and gouache and tempera, and they had the most beautiful natural fiber brushes. And the first time that I tried the paintbrush, I just fell in love with, and I couldn't just put it down since. My biggest inspiration is my models. I come up with these stories when I paint and draw them. I look at them, and each model creates, as if I'm a storyteller, it creates the whole series and the story in my head. And they are my biggest inspiration, my models. I was born in Armenia in former USSR, and when I immigrated to USA, it has not changed my political. It didn't influence me any way politically because I have never been political. I'm the most apolitical person, and my art doesn't have any political messages in it. And my art is mostly about interpersonal relationships. And in former USSR, in USA, humans are humans. They fall in love, they hate, they go through turmoils, they go through emotional ups and downs. So it's the same. Sine Qua Non means without which, the most important ingredient without which cannot exist. And I was working with Lacey Soto, that beautiful model that is wearing her nun's hat, and she had tattooed on her stomach, "All you need is love." And that was the main message for me. Without love will not exist anything. So love is the most important ingredient, and if you will just look through the entire series, that's all that's all about. I graduated from art college with degrees in fine arts and graphic design. After that, I graduated from Pedagogical University, State University in Armenia, where I've majored in teaching fine arts. And after immigrating to United States, I studied fashion design and graphic design. And they helped me a lot, and they formed me as a painter. And my thinking is completely different from whatever I would be if I were just a graduate from art college. I see as a fashion as a witness of culture and history, and I absolutely have direct influence in my work. And interestingly enough, that's a very important point that I'm going to bring. When I start painting fashion in my artwork, I never think, oh, that's what I would want to wear, or that's how all the dress or the costume I like. Generally, for me, it's every series I work on, I design collection for that series. So it's a creative process. It's another fashion collection for me for the specific series that is going to bring some character to that specific series. If you will notice, I work very traditionally. I've been trained as a traditional painter, and all my art is traditional and very classic. Imprimatura is old masters techniques, which means that it's a stain of color with raw umber that we do on a canvas before we start. And imprimatura in Italian means stain of color, and I use raw umber. And I cover the entire canvas with raw umber. And generally, the way I use my backgrounds have a lot of transparency. And the way I build my paintings, my objects and subjects are very opaque, and they're raised. and I use a lot of impasto, but my backgrounds are very thin and transparent. And imprimatur, sometimes you can see through imprimatura, through my backgrounds, that creates depth and texture. So that's how I use it. After imprimatura, I start with underpainting. Underpainting, I use underpainting either as pimbora, which is just the white that I go over the lights, or grisaille, which I do with raw umber mostly, and I cover also the shadows opaquely, or I do verdaggio, which is with greens. Depending on a project and depending on a painting, I will use different techniques. But generally it's underpainting, and after underpainting I will go over with first paint, second paint, and my last two layers are glazes. So that's what gives mostly that glazed and transparent effect, especially on the skin. I always prefer working with live models because that's how I've been trained. Classically trained painters, they used to work a lot with live models. My sessions are very, very long. Even at my studio, my art painting and model painting and drawing class is usually very long sessions, from 8 to 10 weeks, 6-hour sessions. And we go with tight drawing, underpainting, first, second layers, and glazes. That's what I prefer doing. Unfortunately, nowadays it's impossible, especially for my work, that lasts 2 months to paint. Neither financially nor physically. It's impossible to paint a model or hire a model for such a long time. That's why I have to do photo shoots and use photo references most of the time. But before each photo shoot or before each composition, I will study the model in live form. Most of my paintings have models with the tattoos. They are actually tattooed models, and the reason that I hire them just because they represent exact character that will go into my series. And for me, tattoos play big role because as a graphic designer who worked and did a lot of t-shirts and designs for fashion industry for young girls, I designed thousands of tattoos. I can be considered a tattoo artist minus not working on the skin. And I have this great appreciation for beautiful tattoos, and tattoos give specific identity to each character and to my heroines, and they identify the mood for the series. And if without tattoos, these specific tattoos, these characters wouldn't be themselves, and they wouldn't have the same personalities as they have in the series. As a graphic designers, we have huge libraries, and in each library we have thousands of pictures of backgrounds, body parts, clothes, different draperies, different skin tones or headdresses. And in one of my libraries, I have the huge library of backgrounds. And usually whenever we go over around the Europe or wherever I go, I take pictures and I store them. And when the time comes for me to start on my paintings, I take 7 or 6 different backgrounds, juxtapose them, and create completely different, completely new background for the certain painting, and connect with my models and change the colors if it needs to be changed, or change the lighting. I would give lighting effects in Photoshop, and that becomes completely new background, non-existent anywhere. I used to use technological instruments and gadgets for my Technological Revolution series. Sine Qua Non is completely different. Emotionally or psychologically, it has completely different undertone. My technological series were more masculine. Women were more masculine. In Sine Qua Non, my women are more feminine. I use mostly symbols like roses, like masks, like beautiful transparent fabrics, a lot of drapery, a lot of tattoos, which you cannot find in my Technological Revolution series. And by nature, it's a completely different series. That's why. Transition, like in everybody's life, in human life, we all go and evolve through transitions of emotional turmoils or emotional different stages and conditions. And Sine Qua Non is as if it's the continuation of that process, emotional process. In Sine Qua Non, my heroines go through emotional transition and realization of their suppression of emotions, find the source of their emotional problems and turmoils, and come up with solution and gain their power and strength, and they overcome their emotional problems. And that was exactly what I was looking for in my series of this work in Sine Qua Non. Intentionally portray women with these dualities, and mostly dualities come in oxymoron forms, like you can have two different emotional conditions at the same time. You can notice in my paintings is the bittersweet, is the vulnerability with strength, it's the pain with sweetness. So basically, yes, my female characters have strong duality. Directly, I would like my female audience to respond, to connect, emotionally connect with my paintings, because it's about women. We all go through emotions, love, hatred, loss, turmoils, ups and downs. So they're directly connected to each and every woman in the world. So Queen of Sorrow is one of my most favorite paintings, because it sort of like combines the entire idea of the Sine Qua Non. If you notice, she's wearing her thorn crown, which is her painful memories from her past, and rose that penetrates through her hand and perforates and creates the wound. It's her painful love, and a skull that represents loss of faith in love, loss of love. So basically, the way it started was very interesting too. My husband had the snow chain from his old car, and I was just looking through that snow chain. I really love these swirly details, and I said, you know what, it can be like a thorn crown. And so we just picked up some from dry cleaning, these wire hangers, and we just started moving around and turning around, and we just turned it into a crown shape. And my husband put through all these little details and glued these details on, and then we just opened up the edges, and it just became a thorn crown. Crown wasn't looking as a crown in the beginning, so we have decided to do the fleur de lis, that form, and it just turned into a crown. And from that crown, the entire series has begun. They're not favorite symbols. Interestingly enough, I'm one of the painters that uses a lot of symbols in each and every work. Depending on series, these symbols change. In Technological Revolution series, it was technological gadgets. In Sine Qua Non, it's tattoos, it's the thorn crown, it's roses, it's skulls, it's cage masks. I have another series that uses fires. And I also will be using prostheses in my next series, prosthetics. So with each series, the symbols change. Here is Paul Booth's question. If you could dig up an artist from the past to consume their brains for more artistic power, who would it be? I will be glad to answer that. It would be Rembrandt, and also I love Etienne Sandorfi. I would like to take an opportunity and thank Paul Booth and his gallery for giving me the opportunity to show in his beautiful gallery and to have this interview and share my experiences and my background with you.